The frequency of concussions as we're seeing them in our society today is a very serious issue for us. Concussions come about in a number of ways. We're seeing them a lot more related to sports injuries, whether it be soccer, gymnastics, football, just ordinary falls. And I think sometimes awareness creates an awareness of a serious of an issue, so that for years, I think sometimes people had a concussion and tried to just ignore it. But the fact of the matter is, the more we learn how it is important it is that if we suspect that a person has a concussion, that we diagnose and treat as soon as possible for that person's long-term good health. I can tell you our largest school district, Tucson Unified School District, has over 11,000 students. Many of them are involved in athletic activities. They're certainly involved in ordinary daily living activities. And the fact of the matter is, if they see a child in school and they can't make a determination of why that student isn't doing well in school, to have that baseline testing material that then the concussion testing can be performed will be something that, if in fact the problem is the concussion and then we treat it, the school district can then get that child back into the classroom, back into their extracurricular activity, and back into flow of living, which is going to make them a successful student. It's very important. Well, I can tell you our law enforcement agencies, unfortunately, see so many cases where victims have been subject to concussion, to strangulation, to any number of injuries. And our police department has a foundation, the Tucson Police Foundation. It can and likely will partner with the Cactus Foundation, because it's the Cactus Foundation who I think we're all counting on to see that this work gets done, to raise funds that'll be charitable giving that can then be used to do the work necessary, to hire the people necessary, to do the baseline testing, but more importantly, to do the testing after an injury so that the police can have reliable evidence, which is incredibly important to them, but also, again, to assure that the victim gets treated not just as a witness, but as somebody who has been injured and who they can help restore to full justice. We care about data because without data, you're making it up. And the fact of the matter is, it's important, obviously, to have reliable, solid scientific data when you're dealing with anything in a medical field, anything in a scientific field. But the real fact of the matter is that it is important to have data for any subject where you have to make a decision that is going to affect either public policy or a person's private life. And that is why the Cactus Foundation's work to work with populations where we can get baseline data information, and then work with populations whom we know have suffered from a head injury of some nature, is so important, because by having those two populations available to us, we can get mass data, and with mass data, we can more quickly get to workable solutions. It's so important in the medical world today that medical information be readily accessible and readily accessible to the patient. That is apparently now being done in the cloud, and if the Cactus Foundation can coordinate with large healthcare institutions who can help provide that kind of coordinated data system and entry system to get that information online, then what that means is a student plays a football game. They go home after they've been taken off the field, after they've been tested, and hopefully within hours they can know exactly what their situation is, exactly what they need to do to treat, and come back to health that much sooner. The beauty of the cloud is that we no longer have to wait for days or weeks to get information. We can get it within hours, and if we act on it within hours, you're going to get a better medical result.